Hello everyone. This is a quick little video on, or a series of videos on how to make a little pouch, treasure pouch. This was a pattern that I posted for the Fair Brats for the Northern California Renaissance Fair in 2019. So here we go. You're going to need your hook that came in your little packet and your ball of yarn. It's not going to be this big. I know it's smaller, but that's what I have. And your hook and your yarn should have been matched up. In this case, I have a K hook, and this yarn is bulky or super bulky, and you use a K hook for that. If you have an H hook, you'll have worsted weight yarn, which is appropriate for the H hook, and also you have an I and a J. The I can use the appropriate yarn, you'll see. And you can always look up what kind of yarn to use on the ball of yarn if you want to go to the yarn store and find some. Anyway, for this project, we're going to learn the basics of how to crochet. So we're going to take our yarn and give it a nice tail. So we're going to say maybe about that long, because we may use it later to help sew this up. So then you're going to make what's called a slip knot. And you're going to do that. See? Do that again. There are a couple of ways to do it. This is the way I do it. I make a loop and then pull it through like that. Then you put your hook through it and you pull it snug. And that's how you start. So this is how we're going to start. Then you're going to hold the yarn. I like to think of it as you're like the tensioner on a sewing machine. So this is how I put it. I've also included a link in my Facebook post on other ways of holding the yarn, so you can take a look at that and see what you like best. This is how I'm going to hold it for now. So this is how I also work with it. I do what's called the knife. The way of holding my crochet hook is like holding a knife. So like, when you're going to cut your steak or something. So that's how I hold it. So we're going to do what's called a chain stitch. This is the basis of all crochet. You're going to do something called a yarn over. See that? The yarn went over the hook. All right, and it's going to pull through. Hey, we made a chain stitch. You yarn over, and you turn the hook a little bit, so you're grabbing the yarn, and you pull through. See? Do that again. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. And hey, we have chains. So in this case, sorry about that, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 chains that are not on the hook. This one doesn't count. The loop never counts. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. For this project, I know I said 12 stitches or 13 as the base, but depending on the size yarn, if you have a K or a J hook, then I'm going to recommend that you do 8 stitches or 9 stitches instead of 12. If you have the H hook or the I hook, you're going to be fine. And stick with 12. So in this case, we're going to do 9 stitches across, and that will be the base for this. So we've already got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I said 8 stitches across, but we do 9 because I need something to turn around and then start the other direction. So you need that one. That one's going to kind of just be on the side here, so it won't count. So then this is the next part to make your first row. See these bumps here and here and here? That's where you want the stitch to go. And we're going to do what's called a single crochet. So you go through that stitch using the pointy end of the hook. You do your yarn over and you pull it right through. And guess what? You've got 2 hoops or loops on the hook. And you do another yarn over and pull through, all the way through. There's your first stitch, first single crochet. So we're going to go through the bump again, and we're going to do it again. So yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through, chain, and then we have the second one. You can count, if you look carefully here, at the stitches. So these are legs, these pointy things here, the legs of the stitch. So that's 1 stitch and that's 2. we're going to make 8. So make sure you use the pointy end. That will help you get through that bump. Yarn over, pull through. That's 3. So I'll just continue across, and you can always rewind the video to watch it again if you want. This is why you want to make your base chains loose, because you want to be able to get through these bumps. If it's too tight, you can't do this part. So you want to make sure it's nice and loose at the beginning. Okay, so we're up to 8. All right, so that is your first row. Now notice that there are 2 loops here. We want to get to 1 so we can go to the next row. So you're going to do a chain stitch to close it up, and then you turn your work, just like that. Okay, woohoo, yay. So now you can count if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this is a chain stitch right there. So those are your 8 stitches. So now when we go and do the second row, or any row thereafter, you want to make sure that you come right there. Do not go there, because you're going to end up with shorter rows and it's not going to be even. It won't look right. So you want to make sure that you go right there to start. And at this point now, so at the beginning you went through bumps. Now you're going to go through the actual stitches. And these are the legs, like I said before. You're going to go through both of them. Okay? There are some other techniques where you go through one, but we're not doing that right now. We're doing a basic single crochet stitch. So you're going to go through and do your yarn over, just like you did before. 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through, and there you go. And there is your first stitch on the second row. So you just do that all the way across. So you want to go through this hole and this hole, just like you did here. Go through here, make sure it's both through both legs, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through, and there's your stitch again. All right, let's do this all the way across. This is 3 and 4, 5, 6. Now notice that my yarn is getting tight. Make sure that you always have enough yarn for yourself to work with. And get it back in your tension, just like your sewing machine. All right, 7. Now at the end, it can get confusing here. You have to go all the way to the end. If you don't, it's going to get shorter and shorter. So there are those 2 legs. They're just a little bit rounded. So you just need to make sure that you find them every time. You see that? I think you can. So again, find those 2 legs, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and there you go. We have 2 rows. And so you have the 2 legs here. You want to close up the stitch with a chain stitch and then turn your work. So it should be a little easier for you to see where to go now, and just do the same thing over and over until you get the length that you want. And then the length will allow you to then make this fold, and we'll go on to the next part. Okay? See you soon. Hello, everyone, again. So I have come back, and this is what I've made at this point. So you can see how long it is. And if you fold it in half, guess what? We're almost ready to finish our pocket. So this is what I've folded it up to. You can see that. And I will count the rows for you here. Let's see if we can do this easily here. So you see this bump here? That was from the chain 1 turning. So it's 1, 2. Now if you see, it looks like you've got kind of rows here, so you can count them in 2s. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Or you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Maybe we have 17, I'm not sure. Anyway, so if we count it this way, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Okay, 17 rows. There we go. So I'm going to fold it somewhat in half, but I'm going to leave a little bit here because I'm going to flap this over. Now it's not quite done because I need to add a buttonhole. So we're going to do that. So I've already done my chain 1 and turning. Here we are. Ta-da. And always make sure that you go right into that first hole, because if you don't, you're going to shrink it very quickly. So make sure you're going right into that hole right at the beginning. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Now the other thing I did in the first video is I had 12 going across. For this particular yarn, it was too wide for what I was doing. So I went down to 8 chains, 8 stitches. So that's, if you have a K hook, that means you have K size yarn. So you're going to want to do 8 stitches instead of 12, but it still works out. So you're going to go almost halfway through. If it's 12 stitches, it's going to be 5. And with the 8 stitches here, it's going to be 3. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3 across. Now we're going to skip this stitch and this stitch because we're making a buttonhole. And you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to chain 2 because you're going to skip 2 stitches, and then you're going into the third one, and we're going to do another single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and guess what? There's your buttonhole right there. No problem, huh? Pretty simple. So now that we're there, let's check the size. Is that the size we want? I think so. I think that's a cute little treasure purse right there. So we'll leave that alone. Now, what you do is you're going to cut this off here, and then we're going to use this yarn to sew up the sides. I'll come back to that next time. Hello again. All right, so got a couple of new things here. So we have a tapestry needle. So it's nice and sort of big, and it's blunt. So all you needed to do is just to go through things. And of course, a pair of scissors. So I'm going to leave this needle over here for a second. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut the yarn. Give it some length because you're going to do what's called weaving in. We're going to do that. And then take this and you pull it through like this. And that's it. So let's finish this part and then we'll do the next part. So that is just to kind of fold it and get it through the hook, through the eye of the needle there. Here's what I do. See, I fold it over the needle, pull it through, get it nice and flat, and then you're able to shove it through. So that's that. So weaving in the ends, this is so it doesn't come unraveled and so it looks nice and tidy. You want to do it on the side that you're not going to see so much. So this is going to get folded over, and I'm going to put it through here. So you just kind of find places to do it, and as best you can, make sure that doesn't get pulled too tight, and then just weave through here, whatever you're going to do, and just make sure it's tidy. And on the other side, see how you can't see it? So I'm just putting it through here, no big deal. And you can come back again on itself. Just make sure you don't go through the same hole, go through a different one a little bit, and that should make it nice. And then just kind of tug it slightly as you cut it. All right, we're done with that. So we have that part there. Now I can use this as well, or I'll weave that in too. But in this case, I'm going to use it in a clever way. So see how we're going to close that up? I'm going to use this to sew up this side. So make sure it's long enough. This is going to barely be long enough, but it's okay for me. I would probably do about, 8 inches or so in order to weave it in, or to use it as a sewing part here. That way you're not wasting any yarn, and it's kind of nice, and it's cool, and it's the same color. So it's all good. So line it up where you want. So in this case, this is where I'm going to put it, and then it'll flap over. And then you just go through the side here, and you pick through the stitches. Make sure, remember, like in the stitches, you want to go through those 2 legs. So see those 2 legs there? I'm going through 2 legs and through 2 legs. And you can sew it in any way you want. In this case, you have the 2 bumps here, so you just go through those. And you just kind of go through as best you can, as long as it's not messy. And just make sure to pull it snug not super tight, but snug, so it doesn't have any holes, so you don't lose any of whatever you put in your treasure pocket. Okay, so there's that. And see how it's kind of short here? That's why you really need as much yarn to make it work, but I'll make it work, it'll be fine. And see, nice and tight. So I haven't decided, will I keep it on the outside? Yeah, I could do that. Let's do that. All right, oops, it came undone, no problem. Just thread it right through again. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go on the inside now and weave it here. So inside out, or this could be the right side out if you feel like it. It's up to you. I'm gonna do it, call this inside out. And if you really wanna make sure it doesn't come undone before you weave it in, you can tie it in a knot. Now this is getting pretty short. Okay, see that? Just make sure it goes through there to make your knot. Okay, all right, there we go. Now it's a little short, and it's gonna be on the inside anyway, so I'm just gonna cut it, call it done. All right, there's one side, almost done. There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna sew up the other side, and I'm going to give myself a lot more yarn this time. So probably this will do. That's probably a little over a foot, and then we'll come back and finish it. Hello. All right, so here is your pocket. Isn't that cute? Here's the back side, and there's just enough for some cute little things, whatever your treasures are. Here's the loop for your buttonhole. So to find the place to put your button, what you want to do is fold it over, and see that there? You want to put a little marker there, or you can use a dot with a pen or something like that, and right there, and then you will sew on your button whatever you want there. Now, one of the things that I use is my little container here full of things. Let's see if I can get it out here. These are called stitch markers. Can you see that? See? That's a stitch marker right there for you. So that you can use to also help you. So I'm going to take this, and it goes here. So it goes right there. Put my finger on it, and then what you can do is you can put a stitch marker right there. See that? That way you know where it is, and then you can go and do your thing, get your buttons, and then make your button and see, fold it over. There it is. Make sure that it works. And that is that. You can also add a little string if you want to go over and make it a little purse, or to hang onto your belt. You can also put a little thing back here you can stitch over to create a little belt flap if you have enough yarn. I'm not sure how much yarn you have from the little kit that I gave you, but you get creative and figure out what you want to do. One way to do a little handle is to make a chain stitch. So remember that chain stitch you learned a while back? So you just start one here, and go here, and do this, and make sure to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. See? Chain as many times as you want, and it makes a nice little handle instead of just using the string, which wouldn't be as sturdy. So you do as many as you want. So like say I've got this, and then you just attach it here and here, and then you've got a little something there. You can also do that on the back too, but I don't think it would be quite as sturdy, or I don't know, it wouldn't look as good, but this would look great. All right, there you go, Fair Brats. Hope you enjoy this project. Go ahead and ask me what you want in the comments below, or on my Facebook page at Kitty Kate Cozies. So facebook.com/Kitty Kate Cozies. KITTY KATECOZIES. All right, cheers.